What about this? What do you think this says?
Do you want to go?
Yeah. Do you want to go? Do you wanna? And if you read, right, like if you read a student's writing, do you want to go? The student's writing down exactly what, say, write down, like stretch out the sounds. Do you wanna go? Do you want to go? So again, we have the d, d. And that happens in natural speech. It's not because we're not speaking correctly or being lazy. That is just native English speech.
But you're still noticing the vowels a lot more focus, right?
It has to close.
What happens when we are speaking a vowel, our mouth is what?
Open.
And when we have a consonant, our mouth has to do what? In some way, it has to close. There is some closure with all the consonants. Vowels, open. Consonants, some kind of closure. Different closures, not always the lips closing, right? Sometimes we have just a tongue. But think about when a puppet is talking. If we do this, we get the sense of talking because we have to open our mouth for the vowels and then have some kind of closure. So syllables are about speech. And what you think in your head, does it always match what's coming out of your mouth? Do you always know what's coming out of your mouth?
No.
No.
You do not. All right, say this word.
Uncomfortable.
So we have syllable, we have word, syllable, onset rhyme, which is part of the syllable. And then we have the phoneme. That's the smallest part. When you are working with students, what do you think is the one thing that we need to be focusing on in teaching that makes a difference?
Phoneme.
The phoneme. If you want to get your kids reading and writing, this is where the work needs to be done. So the idea of having kind of these progressive developmental steps was misunderstood as having to teach all those steps. And that was something that many people did for quite a long time.
Yeah.
So we know that the research does not support spending time working through that. They don't have to master the lower steps before we address those higher ones. So that causal link isn't there. And so if you have gone through that ILM, this is just that kind of reminder that what we thought didn't bear out in the research. So we don't want to waste our time with our students. But we know that manipulation tasks should be done with letters. So this idea, it's a consequence of learning to read as opposed to as a prerequisite. Right. And this is the new curriculum. So for Ontario, so Angie, this won't be very relevant for you, but you'll see with the revised curriculum that they've brought in phonemic awareness. So understanding the sound structure of spoken words to orally isolate, blend, and segment phonemes from simple structures with 2 phonemes to structures with more phonemes. So they're targeting in grade 1 phonemic awareness, not onset rhyme and those things, but phonemic awareness. They're targeting the phoneme level. So if you're using a program for phonemic awareness or for phonological awareness, you're supposed to be working with the phoneme level, not the rhyming, not all that other stuff. And the research shows what's the best way to develop phonemic awareness, to use what?
Letters.
To use letters, right. To learn more, go to Funlearning.ca or click on the QR code.